Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to CSC Portland. Sunday night. Awesome. I'm Patrick Short. I'm the owner and general manager here. I am not a stand-up, so I will not be doing stand-up snappy stuff right now. I'm just making a couple announcements. First of all, concessions will not be available from now on during the show because we don't have the staff. Second, I'm really glad that everybody is here. Oftentimes, people go to stand-up shows because they like to get into it or heckle the talent. And here I am to remind you, these are students. We are here to support.
Yes.
Yes? Just like that. Every time they say anything, just go. Cool, thank you. We appreciate that very much. This is the result of classes taught by Carl Wolfson. Began in September, had a Monday class, a Thursday class. We announced them and they sold out, basically. Pretty awesome. If you're interested, you see tonight and you're like, hey, I could do that. Then January 16th is your opportunity. We'll have another intro to the stand-up comedy class then. We'll also be offering intermediate. If you've already had education in this art form elsewhere, talk to us and we'll see if we believe you. So, awesome. We do lots of other things here. Improv, we teach improv classes. We have shows Saturday nights at 7 o'clock every week. We also are Zooming this tonight and streaming to hundreds of screens. Last time I looked, it was 19. But everybody say hello to our internet people. We're glad you're here. Also, this will be on YouTube later. I just don't know where yet. But later tonight I will. And for the students, I'll be sending out those links later tonight so that you can go watch yourself over and over. And get better. Because that's what it's all about. All right, cool. Any concerns? We have safety concerns. The exits are there and there. If something happens during tonight. We are running HEPA filter machines and we have UV light killing the germs in our HVAC system, and we'd like to thank the federal government for that. Thank you very much. Yes. They did a grant that helped save about 10,000 live venue businesses called the SWOG grant. It's the largest investment in the arts in U.S. federal history. Amazing, right? Cool. And huge, because we wouldn't be here without it. But who should be here is your host and the teacher, the amazing Carl Wolfson.
Patrick Short, give it up for him, everyone at CSC. A big thank you to them for all they do to bring joy to the world and teach. And I want to say right up front, we had an incredible show on Friday. A lot of you were here, and we had, give them a round of applause for all our students on Friday. It was just great fun. I'm proud of every student I had in both classes. They really bought in, and I think you're really going to enjoy their show tonight. Give them a big round of applause for stepping on stage and doing this. You know, what Patrick just mentioned about no snacks and drinks, it reminded me, I was in LA for 22 years with my comedy career. One of my best friends, Harris Pete, the house MC at the Comedy Store, had Raiders season tickets for 4 years, and I went to most of the games with Harris. Any Los Angeles Raiders, Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raider fans here? Nobody? Okay. Well, if you know anything about the Raiders, their fans are cantankerous, boisterous, and 1 year, halfway through the season when they were in LA, there were so many fights that they banned all alcohol in the stadium for the rest of the season, which was, for a Raiders fan, you know. So the next game after they had banned the beer, we're up in the nosebleed seats, and we see this guy walking up the aisle with a baby in one of those baby harnesses. You have those baby harnesses? And he's cooing to the baby, patting the baby on the head, proceeds to sit down in front of us, unscrew the baby's head, stick in a straw and drink liquor for 3/4. That's a Raiders fan, ladies and gentlemen. My husband is here tonight, and I mentioned Gary because we're celebrating our 25th anniversary next month. Give Gary a round of applause. He's like there, oh God, I have to watch Carl again. Gary's originally from South Dakota, Wow, I have never heard that groundswell from South Dakota been like that before. Glad to be gone from there. This is true. His high school mascot was the Irrigators. Got to be a great cheer. Good halftime show. Yeah. This is beginning next year, my 43rd year of doing comedy. It's a lot, and as I told the audience on Friday, I'm very nostalgic about it, and teaching this class made me even more nostalgic about it. I've had an incredible run, which keeps going, and my nostalgia comes from losing people. I was on Alan Thicke's show, Thick of the Night, every week, and Alan passed away suddenly. I was on Joan Rivers every month, and Joan passed away suddenly. I kind of wish I'd been on The Apprentice, but that's all. What I can't get my head around are fundamentalist Christians who love Donald Trump. Is that, can you figure that out? It's just like unbelievable. It's like, have these people read the New Testament and looked at Donald Trump ever? You know, and this started in the 80s with all the televangelists. I don't know if you remember the 80s like I do. Jim Baker, Jimmy Swaggart got caught with prostitutes. We found out how those Bibles got in all those hotel rooms. Yeah, okay? And even if Trump doesn't get the nomination, Ron DeSantis, are you kidding me? How mean is this guy? He flew 48 migrants up to Martha's Vineyards, but finally Democrats have retaliated. A plane just landed in Florida with 48 of Herschel Walker's children. So, thanks for reading the news. All right. You guys ready for your first performer tonight? Come on, let's hear it. I really enjoyed meeting this guy, and he's worked really hard on his stand-up for the last 8 weeks. Please welcome Jeff Bell. Bring up Jeff. Yeah.
Hey everybody. My name is Jeff. A few things about myself. I was born with cerebral palsy. And it kind of affects everybody differently. For me, I walk like a puppet with a couple strings broken. And the title of my memoir is going to be Pinocchio, Geppetto Fucked Up. My partner says I have a natural sachet, and I like her description a lot better. I also have really terrible balance. Sometimes I'm just standing there, and I feel like a top that's almost done spinning. One time I went for a walk in the park, and I was knocked over by the bark of a tiny poodle named Gwendolyn. And I know the poodle's name because the elderly woman walking it said, "Shame on you, Gwendolyn, you knocked over that poor boy." Which would have been really embarrassing as a kid, right? This was a month ago, though. So. It also only affects my left side. So my right side grew up wanting to play sports, maybe be a quarterback. My left side grew up terrified of staircases and ladders. And I realized my right side has such a natural advantage over my left that Fox tried to book it for their election coverage. I am ashamed to admit, though, my right side voted for Drazen. You can boo there, that's fine. To be fair, I didn't say anything about my right side being any smarter. I've also noticed that my right forearm is a whole lot bigger than my left forearm, and I'm assured that that's definitely just a symptom of the cerebral palsy, although I first noticed around the age of 13. And they say it normally only happens in men. Although 10% of men, it's their left forearm, but, you know. Science is a mystery. Despite some physical challenges, though, I did grow up pretty comfortable in my own foreskin. One of the drawbacks toward getting a lot of stares as a kid was I grew up really overly self-aware, especially in awkward situations. And one that I really hate is when a friend shows you a funny video that is not funny at all. And they're always 3 to 5 minutes long, and 10 seconds in, they're laughing at every other word. Meanwhile, you're searching for a single giggle like Zuckerberg searches for a single human emotion. But I do have a plan for that. I've got a smile. You've got a fake laugh. You've got to have a good fake laugh. Ha ha ha. I look to the left, reload the laughter, look back. But how long can you keep that going? My record for a single video is 10 fake laughs, but one time I ran out of laughs and I panicked and I did the only thing I could think of and said, whoops, got a boner, and just left it there. In my defense, this was an extremely hot video of SpongeBob as a Chippendales dancer. I didn't think my mom would be the one to show it to me. One thing I've started doing recently is coming up with jokes that annoy very specific professions. And I'll give you an example. I was at the grocery store and I offered to help bag my own groceries. And a couple items in, I looked at the cashier and I said, hey, do you know when my lunch break is? And she scowled, so I looked at the actual bagger one check stand over and said, our boss is kind of a bitch, huh? I don't shop there anymore. I'm kind of worried about the rise of cults lately. You have the MAGA cult, you have the crypto cult, you have the limited time Mexican pizza from Taco Bell cult. I'm a proud member. I realized, as an avid Oregon Ducks fan, I am certainly in the sports cult. I think level 1 is getting a tattoo, so I'm there. Level 2 is I only buy toothbrushes that are green and yellow. Level 3 is I don't eat duck. And I'm very grateful our mascot is not a German chocolate cake. Level 4, I passed in college when I went streaking after a really big win. The laughter you heard was somebody who was there. I'm proud of that one, though. I'm very proud of level 4. Level 5 I'm not so proud of. It's wearing the same pair of boxers during winning streaks. And a few years ago, our team started 8-0, which was great, but I was not allowed over to Thanksgiving. It actually took an eviction notice, which said, unknown smell disturbing the peace, to get me to do my laundry. But we ended up losing that weekend anyway, so it all worked out. My mom actually called me sobbing with happy tears because I could come to Christmas. I guess if there was a level 6, it would be going to that school, which I did. I went to the University of Oregon with my best friend. We met on the first day of kindergarten, and our assignment was to color and cut out a picture. And so the first thing I said to him was, I'm going to beat you. And he looked at me and said, well, you're not coloring within the lines. And naturally, we became best friends. And we dormed together our first year. And we thought we were prepared for the college scene, the drinking life. His dad actually left us a 12-ounce Coors on move-in day, which we thought was really neat. Until we met our next-door neighbors who had already replaced their desk chairs with 30 racks of beer. And they had a poster on the wall that said, finish your beer, there's sober kids in India. So we realized we were in the big leagues. When our friend group all turned 19, we took a trip to Whistler together. And on the very first night of partying, I woke up at 3 a.m. on a very large boulder outside of our rental in a t-shirt. This was in the Canadian wilderness in March. There were 2 moose walking by, and I heard one mutter to the other, typical American. It's true, I'll own that. A few years after that, which was about the same time I got over the hangover from that night, I knew I needed to get in shape. For me, the freshman 15 had been the fall term 45. And so to get in shape, I decided to get a Fitbit fitness watch, which I quickly developed a love-hate relationship with. I love that when I first opened the package, it said, hey there, champ, which was really neat, pretty uplifting. I hated that I had unknowingly purchased a Fitbit Junior. And I should have seen the signs the third time I was brushing my teeth, and it said, smile for success. But I didn't like how it made me feel either. we have a donut shop 1 block away, and I walked there and back, and it buzzed and said, "Congrats on your 20-minute run," which was a little deflating. It was worse when I started eating the donut, and it buzzed and said, "Hey there, champ, did you know you're still working out?" Very, very disappointing. The absolute worst thing happened, though, when I forgot to turn off the audio notifications one time and finished having sex, and it buzzed and said, 90-second energy outburst? Great job, champ. That's my time. Thanks, everybody.
Jeff Bell, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff! Good job, Jeff. I did notice South Dakota got more applause than the University of Oregon. I did notice that. One more time for Jeff. Great stuff. I tell my students that when you use humor, and this is true, people will remember what you say if they know it comes with humor and a joke. You can tell I'm into politics a lot. One of my favorite stories is a senator named Margaret Chase Smith. You probably don't remember, 1950s. She's one of the first women senators from the great state of Maine, moderate Republican. You don't hear those two words together anymore, but she was often mentioned in the 1950s as a possible first woman president. A reporter asked her one day, said, "Senator Smith, what would you do if you woke up and found yourself in the White House?" She said, "I would get dressed, run downstairs, apologize to Mrs. Eisenhower, and leave." So that's the kind of thinking on their feet where we're getting in this class. So, all right, you ready for our first woman comedian to join us? It's funny because my Monday class is like 10 women and 2 guys, and the Thursday class is 10 guys and 2 women. But it all worked out, and I've really gotten to know this young woman who's done an amazing job, and you're going to enjoy her now. Please welcome Molly Cathan. Molly.
Woo! Hi. You guys look good tonight. I can't see you, but the lights are very bright. But hey, I'm Molly. I just recently celebrated my birthday. Thank you. I turned 39, and it feels really good. Just really want to thrive this year before I hit the big 4-0. And so it's been a weird couple years, and I'm finally ready to start trying out this thing everyone's talking about, self-care. So to start it off, I've just been, basically trying to ride my Peloton bike a little bit more. It's been great, but I do need to find a new drying rack for all my laundry, so it's been a little bit tough. And I've also got a great new therapist to talk to. And yeah, it's cool. They have this really progressive program. It's like a frequent flyer program. So I go often enough that I get to bring all my emotional baggage with no extra fees. Yeah, and even sometimes I will get an upgrade where they elevate me to my higher self. I've also recently been buying some eye cream. It's one of those fancy types that you apply with just the very tips of your ring fingers. Apparently your ring finger is like the gentlest finger on your hand, and it has a direct channel to the fountain of youth. I've actually taken a little bit less graceful method though, and I just flip those fucking wrinkles off as I apply a $100 eye cream. And I'm taking a stand-up comedy class. I figure if my 40s are anything like my 30s, then I'm going to need to be prepared to take on the next decade with lots of humor. So I'm a dentist, and I went into dentistry because I really wanted to make people smile. I loved going to the dentist growing up. I liked getting my teeth cleaned. I liked that slippery feeling when I got my braces off. And I really loved skipping school. It's dentistry, right? Well, I guess I was letting my blonde hair show when I applied for dental school because I thought shots were what you chased with a lime. I thought a filling was either raspberry jelly or Boston cream. And I thought a root canal was what was left behind after you picked a carrot. It turns out I was wrong. So I actually put TVs on the ceilings in my dental practice so it could make it a little bit more fun experience for my patients. And while I do provide a very gentle cavity search, I did learn that people tend to prefer Netflix and chill over Netflix and drill. I've been married for almost 12 years. I married this great guy I met in dental school. When I met him, he was everything I wanted in a man. He was smart, funny, handsome. He liked to do it twice a day. Brush and floss. Not that sexy, right? Thank you, Carl. But no, really, there are some perks being married to another dentist. For example, we can be at a dinner party and he can very discreetly tell me when I have something stuck in my teeth without anyone the wiser. He can just be like, hey Molly, kale fragment between 8 and 9. I can take care of it. There's none of that over here. It's fine. He also can write me very, very sweet Valentine messages. This Valentine's, I wake up and there's a message that says, we are meant to be, right there, written on Sharpie on my toothpaste. And one of my very favorite things about him is he gets me a new vibrator every year for Christmas. He likes the Sonicare brand with the removable heads. But no, we've been growing a business together for almost a decade, and when we first started out our careers, we worked for other people. But we got really tired of our temperamental bosses. It was always so exhausting. They were so demanding and erratic and needy, and it was just very tiring. So we quit, we started our own practices, and it was so freeing. Nobody was ever going to tell us what to do ever again. Then we had kids. We did intentionally wait quite a bit before making that kid commitment because, well, we wanted to enjoy our marriage and travel and work on our careers, see if we could keep our spaniels alive. It felt like the responsible thing to do. But, I did learn the medical community actually has a word for moms like me: geriatric. So picture this, I'm 35 and about to give birth to my first. I'm in the waiting room of my doctor's office and the nurse opens the door and she calls me back. Molly! I stand up, I check if I have my earbuds in, why is she being so loud? I walk over, she's like, how are you today, honey? And she checks my chart. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm looking forward to the baby, went to work today. She actually holds my arm and the small of my back and sort of shuffles me back to the room, I think so I don't bust a hip. And when I get back to the room, there is a crocheted sweater waiting for me and a glass of prune juice to help me pass the baby. But no, you guys, having kids is awesome. My kids just happen to be a little too close together in age. But oopsie, that is actually my fault. It turns out birth control works a lot better when you take it very regularly. I'm gonna go ahead and blame it on my mom brain, but I might have been a little erratic. So I wrote a little poem to confess to you what may or may not have happened. Here it goes. 1 or 2 might have fell in my shoe. 3, 4, I'll just take some more. 5'6", better stay off dicks. 7'8", the hubs looks great. 9'10", shit, pregnant again. But don't worry, as you may have guessed, having 2 under 2 is exactly what one needs to distract you and calm your nerves in the middle of a global pandemic, when there's rioting in the streets, and distract you from Donald Trump, the executive Cheeto in charge. And speaking of Cheetos, my son was actually born quite a chunk, thanks to Mom's Quarantine 15. He was born in May 2020. That guy comes charging out, learns what's going on in the world, and that little fucker tries to turn around and go right back in. Oh no. But no, really, you guys, those of you that have kids, you know, my kids are awesome. They're chill, they're cooperative, they're so sweet. But they do wake up. And when they do, our house does feel like a bit of a zoo. And we're just here trying to keep the orangutans fed and to keep the shit from flying. But a wise empty nester once told me, Molly, just hang on for a couple more years. And when the kids are about 4 and 6, you'll have it made. You'll be sleeping in again. You'll be able to stay seated in one place for more than 10 minutes at a time. And eventually, maybe, they'll even make me some damn pancakes. But until then, here I am, just trying to find joy in this wild ride. So before I say the F word, 40, that is, I'm gonna go ahead and rebrand myself. From the dentist to the floss boss, and from the geriatric mom to the bomb mom, and from a flippin' 3-ring circus to a stand-up comic.
Molly Kaplan, ladies and gentlemen. Molly. See? And I bet the stand-up comic is the most fun, right, Molly? I have never heard a dentist get that much applause, I have to tell you. Ever. One more time for Molly. Really good job. I got a couple questions in my class about what it's like being on the road as a comic for 4+ decades, and the stage is incredible. It's always incredible, and all the students are realizing how much fun and powerful it is, but the traveling just sucks, man. I can't count the flights. You know what my worst flight number was? Take a guess. Worst flight number? 69. There you go. Thank you. That sounds like a good flight, actually. Nope. 911. Nope. Here it is. Flight 5050. This is your pilot. Welcome aboard Flight 5050. We've got an even shot of getting off the runway today. Most terrifying, it was Valentine's Day 1986, flying into Chicago. They had a blizzard. We circled O'Hare for 1 hour. Pilot came on. This is exactly what he said. He said, O'Hare's been shut. We've been diverted. We should have enough fuel to get to Minneapolis. Nuns are going, fuck. You sit next to a nun who says fuck, it changes your whole attitude. I'll tell you that right now. Thank you, Alice. By the way, if you hear honking tonight, it's Johanna Lowenberg, who I always know, and when Johanna is in class, we can tell comedy gold when so, Johanna, when you're up here, we'll all try to honk. Coming to the stage now, she just made me laugh before she even said anything, and I think that's a great sign for a promising stand-up career. Please welcome Na Wen. Na Wen.
Hello, my name is Na. Like, can I take you home? Nah. My day job, when I'm not standing up here being a clown, is that I'm a realtor. And the market's been really tough, so every day I wake up choosing violence. So today I will talk about things that I hate. The dentist, Molly. I don't like the things they put in my mouth. I don't like the taste of blood. But I always remind myself that I need to get this mouth clean for all the shit I talk. Dating in this generation, no, I don't want to be friends with benefits until I get Social Security. Realistic face tattoos. I met this guy, he had a huge face tattoo of his mom, like right here. I understand the dedication is beautiful and all, but honestly, it's really creepy. I felt like, however I was like moving, she was always like staring at me. And those eyes, they do not shut off at night. Can you imagine trying to do like adult things to her son? Like mama is watching. At this point, you're having a threesome with the mom. Ew. Something else that really annoys me are my taken friends. So I'm 32 at that stage in my life where my friends are married, having around 2 or 3 kids. And my other friends are in 8 to 10 year relationships. So I'm one of the only single ones that are still left out here in the wild. So my dating life is the most exciting, entertaining thing to them ever. So instead of asking like how I'm doing, they're like, how's dating? And they watch my every move like a spy. I posted a picture of my food one time and there was like a guy's arm in the picture. And immediately, they're like, ooh, new boo. Even my own mom, I'll be coming back from the gym and then she'll be like, how Jim meet husband? And she's really big on my airport outfit, thinks I'll be meeting my husband on the plane. So I'll be wearing sweats and then she'll be like, ugly, no husband, change dress. But usually when I see a good-looking guy on the plane, he's already someone else's husband. So I also have another group of friends that are like newly divorced. And they're the ones that will always talk about how amazing and great their husbands are. And they would always like judge me for doing all these fuckboys out here in the circus. And they'll always be, oh, you see what Na's going through? That never would happen to me if I was single. And they'll always try to give me advice. Like, oh, there are plenty of good guys out here. You just need to think positive. So now I sit back, watch them navigate this dating scene, and then a little bit of time in the scene. And they're like, there's no good guys out here. And I'm like, aw, positive thinking isn't working out for you? Like, no, these guys just want to take me home and break my back. They're like, I'm so sad. I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life. I'm like, poor you. I feel so bad, but honestly, I don't feel bad because this is karma, bitch. Thank you, everyone, for listening to my rant. Goodbye.
Now when, ladies and gentlemen, now. That's Nick Dudley, who went back to the green room. Nick's on later. One more time for Na. Cracks me up. All right. Nick is from Arkansas, so Nick's really funny, right, students? Oh, God, is he funny. And, you know, I was in Arkansas once. You see shit there you don't see anywhere else, you know. I saw a 12-year-old girl smoking right in front of her children. It was like unbelievable.
Saw that in Oregon too.
Thank you for that. Yeah. I was trying to forget Red Oregon after the election, but thanks for bringing it up. All right, this next guy really, really funny. Actually, I've enjoyed having everybody in class, and he's made great strides, and I know he's ready to perform for you tonight. Please welcome Daniel Lukow. Daniel Lukow. Daniel.
Thank you. For today's TED Talk, I want to talk about dating apps. Because I just signed up for 2. The first one is Hinge, which is for romance. And the second one is Grindr, which is for sex with men. And let me tell you something about these dating apps. They are great. Cause for concern. Because the people on there are flaky and weird and superficial, and I am going to marry one of them one day. For real. Grindr is the sex app, and you know, people say the worst things about Grindr because they're right. It's like, if I could paint a picture for you if you've never been on Grindr, it's like if you had all the intimacy and the charm and the whimsy and the welcoming attitude of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. I mean, like, but it is a no-frills sex app. And there's like no surprise here, because that's what happens when you take thousands of years of oppression and load it into a rocket launcher of sexuality. You know, romance is like a buffet. Grindr is like a golden corral facing foreclosure. It definitely failed the health inspection. You roll the dice with every bite, and there is a surprising amount of meth. What's with the meth on Grindr? A guy messaged me one time, and he goes, just out of the blue, he's like, "You have beautiful eyes," and I was like, "Thank you." And then all caps, he messaged me back and goes, "Wanna fuck?" And I'm like, yeah. Honestly. That's a great line, and I love Shakespeare, and it works every time. Hinge is a romance app. And, you know, if you've never seen a dating app, you see people you like, you heart them, you see people you don't, you X them. And so one day, I was laying on my couch, and I was just Xing men frantically. And the screen goes blank. And a message pops up, and it says, "We're sorry. We have no more options to show you. We're out." And I was like, "You're out of options? You're out of men? You're not making any more? They're discontinued?" The supply chain issues in this country are way up. And let me tell you, my ship has been stuck at port for a long time. I need to unload this cargo. Otherwise, it will ruin my family's Hanukkah. But I think, you know, part of the problem is just that, like, my standards are too high. And, okay, thanks for laughing. Yeah, my standards are too high, but I don't want to lower them because that's how you end up in Tiger. And it's not going to work. I am not having my anniversary at a Denny's. I think it's good to like want a lot out of romance, and you know, to really hope for the moon. And I don't want a guy who's just hot. I want a guy who's rich. I want a guy who's ambitious and can do things like read, type in a full sentence, use right punctuation. You know, I think I was having this conversation with someone on Hinge, and he was so cute. He was like an LA 3 or like a Medford 12. And it's a great conversation, but sometimes you can tell that people are like playing the field. And so, you know, as the conversation was winding down, he messaged me and goes, well, you know, it was great talking to you, and good luck with the business you're starting. And I was like, I'm not starting a business. I never said I was starting a business. And I realized he was confusing me for someone else he was talking to. So I'm taking out a small business loan. And I need each of you to give me $9,000. I mean, like, you know, to be frank, I think part of the problem is porn. Porn sets really unrealistic standards for sex. It's very problematic, it's toxic, it can even be dangerous. And that's why I never pay full price. If I'm gonna internalize years of anxiety around sex, there better be a Groupon involved. But I learned my lesson around porn because I went home for the holidays one time, and I really wanted to ask about, like, I wanted to ask my dad about buying a generator, because I know nothing about it. And so I waited for him to finish talking about World War II. And there was a lull in the conversation. And I was like, hey Dad, can you help me buy a portable generator? I don't know anything about it. And he sits down next to me, and he points at my laptop screen, and he goes, yeah, just type the word portable generator. In the moment of panic, when I realized I had to type in to my search bar, P, O, R. That is the last time I use Ask Jeeves for porn. I just want to close by saying, like, you know, this is my first time doing stand-up, long time dream, and my comedy is not for everyone. And I don't need everyone to think I'm funny. I just need everyone to think I'm hot. Thank you.
Yeah, worked so hard. All right. I have good news. Daniel's been dating that portable generator for 4 months now. Unbelievable. Hasn't unplugged it yet, which is amazing. Keep it up for Daniel. It's great work. Gay men and lesbians have great stories about, you know, cluelessness coming of their relatives. And Gary will tell you the true story. In 1985, I was performing in Bloomington, Indiana. I had dinner with my Aunt Fern. Indiana Fern, what more do you need to hear? And she actually said at the dinner table, I watched a special on Liberace last night. He's such a nice man. I wonder why he never got married. Which is kind of better than my mom's reaction when she met Gary for the first time. She's a Fox watching Republican. We were having dinner and she goes, now which one of you is gay? I was like, which one of you is on Thorazine, Mom? Thank you for getting that. And then she actually said, well, we didn't have homosexuals in the 1950s. I said, well, somebody put the fins on those Cadillacs. Somebody did those beehive hairdos. we have a friend, Jenny, who's lesbian. She also has a right-wing mom in Florida. And she told us when she came out, she told her mom she was a lesbian, and her mother goes, there's always a sigh. What's next, Jenny? Heroin? Lesbianism, the gateway drug. Coming to the stage now, a guy I really enjoyed getting to know, and he also is a teacher, but he does, how about a hand for teachers, by the way? This is actually the first time in my life I've taught, and I can tell you it's important, it's rewarding, but he actually teaches 4-year-olds. Give it up for Ryan Gangwich, ladies and
4-year-olds. Awesome. I love it.
Fourth graders.
Fourth graders. They act like 4-year-olds. Hello. This is fantastic. You all look so great. I wish I had an easier name for people to pronounce. Ryan is really hard, apparently, for people to say. They often mistake it for Brian. They think my name is Brian. But it's not Brian. At least I don't think. No, it's Ryan. There is no B in my name. You know, like growing up, my grandma would be like, Geraldine, come meet my grandbaby boy, Brian. Fuck you, Grandma. Can't even remember my name. Or like in college, when I'm at a party, dude, Brian! It's Bryce, man! Bruce, it's Brian! Brian, Bruce, Bryce! Oh, dude! Fucking Bruce and Bryce, man. I was friends with him for about 3 years before I actually told him my name was Ryan, and then they kicked me out. Or the other day when I was having a conversation with my kid, Brian Jr. No, I do have a kid, though, a girl. She's 6 years old. Her name is Georgia. Yes, thank you. She's precious. Everybody loves her. She's fantastic. She made me this shirt. She's very creative and smart, and she's my little biddle. She's so small. She's my little itty bitty. But she can also be a real little shit sometimes, too. Or as my mom would say, a little Molika Scheiße. German, you speak German, and that is not German at all. But that's what she would call me, my little Molika Scheiße Totsitia. She didn't have a German accent, but I like to do that anyway. And my sister, fitting with the theme, would call me Dookie Nugget. So, great family to be raised in. No, they're awesome. Anyway, my daughter Georgia, yes, she could be a little shit. The other day, we were having dinner and I was eating vegetables and rice, trying to set a very healthy example. She's eating a delicious looking double pepperoni and cheese pizza, my favorite. And I look at her and I say, Georgia, that looks so good. Can I have some of that, please? And she goes, okay, Daddy. Cute, I know, precious, right? Okay, Daddy, but not right now. And I go, okay. All right, so I keep eating my veggies and rice, and as the dinner is going on, I say again, oh, I wish my mommy made me delicious pepperoni and cheese pizza. Very passive-aggressively, and she says, Daddy, your mommy's dead, silly. Little Molika Scheiße, that little shit. After dinner, though, oh no, we're not done. Sorry, let me back up. She has one little piece left. It looks so good. And I'm like about to give up. But she looks at me, Daddy, look, I have one more delicious piece of pizza left. And I go, oh, that's my girl. She takes the pizza and she puts it in my face. And she smiles at me. It's like she knew she was doing something bad, but did it anyway. That little fucking shit. We're over on the couch a little later watching the movie for the night that we like to watch, Murder, She Wrote. It's good for 6-year-old children. And as the young aspiring actress is being smashed in the head by a gate that a dog had pressed the button to make it close somehow, I look over at Georgia and I just think, I'm like, oh, she's so pretty watching this. She's beautiful. She's amazing. I love this little girl. She's my little Biddles. And I say, Georgia. Yes, Daddy. Precious, I know. I love you. And she looks right at me. We have the same eyes, same color eyes. It's great. And she looks at me and she goes, I love you, Mommy. Little asshole. But speaking of little shits, yes, I am a teacher. I do teach fourth graders. I've been teaching for about 16 years now, and they can be real assholes, little shits, molokashizes as well. For example, I'm reading Maniac McGee to the kids. If you don't know the story, it's an amazing, poignant story about getting a black community and a white community together over this one character, Maniac McGee. And I'm reading it to the class, and all of a sudden I hear, Mr. G? Yes, Aria? You talk too much. Kids are really good at really striking to your core. They're very honest. Like the other day, I'm walking my students to the bus, and these two kindergarten girls come running up, and they're from our buddy class, so I know them. They have these big, huge turkeys on their heads. Their backpacks are falling behind them. Their hair is all over their place. Mr. G! Mr. G! Yes, Aubrey? Mr. G, I just wanted to tell you that Miles and you're like our favorite teacher. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Yes, and your teeth are really yellow. Bye! Molokashizes, I get it, man. No, but, kids could be pretty awesome if you entertain them while you're teaching them. And I found that they enjoy voices. Now, I am not an impersonator by any means, but fourth graders really do enjoy voices. So if they're all being really good, I'll bust out my SpongeBob. And I'll just be like this. Everybody, please turn to page 73. Thank you. Yeah. And they like it. It gets them to turn to page 73. They're all paying attention. It's great. But if there's a kid who's doing something like Oliver in my class, you all have some Olivers in your life, I guess. He's always touching shit. Always... like taking a pencil sharpener out of another kid's desk. Oliver, put that down. I didn't touch it! Oliver, you're holding it. No, it's not mine. Miles did it. Fucking Oliver. A little shit. Sorry. Oh, he's actually in my class. I was probably gonna get in trouble. Oh, I'm gonna change his name to Steve. He's Steve now, everybody. He's not actually Oliver. So I'll look at him and he's not listening to me, so I'll say something just like in my scary voice. Oliver, look at me! And he'll turn and he'll look at me and I'll say something like, put that back, give Miles his lunch back. And he'll listen, so it's great. I just use these voices to scare the shit out of them, but they pay attention. And they really like my Mickey Mouse impersonation. So if they're not paying attention to me, if they're all in each other's desks, they're all getting up, they're all messing around, I'll just bust out Mickey Mouse. Please, everybody, sit in your seats and pay attention. Thank you. Lovely job, Aria. Way to sit in your seat. Oh, thank you. Thanks. And then it got me thinking, what would it be like if Mickey Mouse was a teacher in a classroom in today's society and he freaked out? God damn it, Oliver! Sit your fucking ass down now! That's it, everybody! We're going outside to the Gaga Ball pit right now! Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Gaga Ball pit, This is what has replaced the unsafe game of dodgeball at recess. We as teachers have constructed an octagon of walls that are about 10 feet high, barbed wire at the top, the gate latches from the outside, and we have the key. Spikes along the walls so you can't really climb out, and we just throw a bunch of rocks and pebbles and different kinds of balls into the pit and let the children figure it out. So here's Mickey in the crow's nest looking out. All right, everybody, it's fucking Friday and you're really ruining this shit for me. I just want to go home and smoke a big old bowl of the finest chronic with my buddy Goofy. We're gonna call up Minnie and see what she's getting into later, but you motherfuckers, you're in the go-go ball pit until the end of the day. Miska, Mouska, shut the fuck up! Thank you, I'm Brian, you all did great.
That's Ryan, not Brian. Ryan Dangles, ladies and gentlemen. Great voices. Man. Got a feature in stand-up, right, Ryan? Yeah. How long do you think you're going to teach for? Are you going to give it up and go into something else, or you're going to stick it out?
I tried to quit at the end of the year last year, and my wife back there reminded me that we needed money, so I had to...
Oh, okay. That's romantic. My wife back there. Wow. Yeah. My wife back there. Well, there's 1,200 jobs open at Twitter, so good luck. Oh, man. We're halfway through. You enjoying the show so far? After the show, we're going to have a little Q&A with the students from both classes, actually. We'll bring the benches up, and if you have any questions about the class, you two may want to do some classwork in stand-up comedy or find out the journey for all of the folks here. We'll do a little Q&A not too long after the show, but stay for that. I've been on a health kick lately. I gave up fast food. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for being so concerned about my life. I remember the last time I was at Burger King some years ago. I ordered a burger, and the woman behind the counter gave me the burger. Then she said to me, "Would you like to contribute to cancer research?" So I gave her back the burger. And joining us now, it's time for the honker. You actually... I have to say, and Gary will attest to this, is 8 weeks, 8 Mondays, 8 Thursdays, and I always come home in the greatest mood because I love every one of my students, and we've had so much fun here. And, you know, the fun, I know, reaches a crescendo when we hear, Please welcome Johanna Lowenberg. Bring her up. Johanna.
I never thought I'd be introduced as it's time for the honker. So, as you all have learned, the funniest thing about me is my laugh, so the joke's on you. If you want this to be good, you have to make me laugh. Oh, I will try not to laugh into this microphone. I apologize. I actually have a number of friends and family here who have been in restaurants with me where someone makes me laugh and the entire restaurant goes. Like there's an emergency going on. It's actually fun, you all. We're going out after this if anyone wants to come out. Also, you'll see me looking at my notes a lot because I have become known as the person in class who doesn't prepare. It's not because I don't want to be prepared. It's just because this is what I've learned. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I do improv. I'm a performer here. And I learned that like improv is my thing. You're just making it up on the spot, right? And every time I tell people I do improv, they're like, oh, so stand up. And I'm like, no, but you know what? I'll give it a shot. I'll see how it goes. So I'm here a little bit improvising my set for you. I hope that's cool. Okay, and one thing we've been doing in our class is we've been filming ourselves. Some of us have. I have. I want to. It's not just me, you guys. Believe me. I just wanted to like see what I look like because I've never seen myself do stand up before. So I went back and watched the videos, and I was like, damn, I move my hands a lot. So I just want to challenge you all to look for me moving my hands tonight. See if I'm right. Another thing someone pointed out to me in college that I do, I never, ever, ever would have noticed this about myself. But somebody pointed it out to me. I elongate my vowels. So also just pay attention to that. If I'm getting going telling a story, I don't do it. But if I have something important to tell you, best believe I will be elongating my vowels. Okay, so I've lived in Portland for, I think it's 27 years now. I came up here to go to college. I stayed. I have worked in public service my whole life. My whole adult life, I should say. Well, actually, I mean, as a kid, kind of too. But anyhow, another story. So I know a lot of people. I see people. I don't know if I should say this. I'll say it out loud. I work at the library. So you might know me. But the thing is, whenever I go out, I see people I know. Like, everywhere I go, I'll go to the grocery store, and I think I went to the grocery store once. I saw, like, 5 people I know. Okay, this was not part of the set, but I'm just going to say it right now. One day, I can't believe I'm sharing this with you guys, but I'm going to do it because that's who I am. One day, I think I saw, I'd have to go through and count, I want to say 6 guys that I had dated in one day. You guys do not seem impressed by that. Does that happen to everyone? Okay. So anyhow, I was at the Armory, and I was there to watch a show. I feel like some of you have shocked looks right now. It's not that bad, it's just, I know a lot of people. Okay. So I was at the Armory seeing a show, and I'm like, as you do, like, shimmying down the aisle. Except I like to face people when I shimmy, so it's more like this. But just for these purposes, so you're not looking at me from the other side, I'm like shimmying along, and I see this guy. I'm like, oh, I know you. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he's sitting there, and he's like, hey. And I like shimmy past, and I'm like, oh, that dude was on OkCupid. Like, that's how I know him. We didn't actually meet. I just saw his photo. This guy does not know me. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell who I actually know and who I don't. Okay, so I get mistaken for staff in stores all the time. I don't know what it is, but people are like always coming up to me and being like, do you know where the paper towels are? And I'm like, yes, I do. They're on aisle 7. Come with me, I'll take you there. I also look like all of the men in my family. I look like my dad more than my mom. Sorry, Mom, she's watching. I look like my dad more than my mom. I look like my mom's brother. My sister and my brother-in-law are here. I look more like my brother-in-law than my sister. You can check later. And then I look and I know you're thinking it, right? Right? Oscar Wilde. Do you all see it? Okay, while I have my glasses off, I'll also share the women I look like. Mayim Bialik and the Mona Lisa. Do you see it? The funny thing is, none of those people look like each other, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, also, as a young woman, I got mistaken for a boy a lot. A friend of mine was babysitting, and I just happened to be over at her house, and this little girl she's babysitting, my friend and I are probably 12, and the little girl just goes, "Who's that guy over there?" Like, come on, I'm a 12-year-old girl, you can't tell? And I should probably take my hair down for the show. I mean, I don't know, I probably don't look like a guy, but anyhow. And then another time I was with the same friend in a hotel, and we were swimming. There was a brother and sister swimming with us, and the sister just turns to her brother and she's like, "That guy over there." I was probably 14, and I was wearing a two-piece. If anyone can give me any insight on this, I would love to know what's going on. Okay, so I'm also just going to tell you some things about myself with very little explanation, and one of them is I have a specific way of showering. All right, there's more. Also, just let me know when I should get off. Okay, so, here's something I found out about myself. I am totally brilliant in my dreams, you guys. I had a dream recently where I was sitting down and I watched a movie with a friend, and at the end of the movie, in my dream, I was bawling. It was a very moving story. And I woke up and I was like, I fucking wrote a movie in my dream. We watched that movie. You can come to me later if you want to know the details. And then when I was in college, I was an RA. If y'all don't know what that is, it's a resident assistant, kind of like the dead mother or father of the dorm. And we had quads on my floor, so there's this quad of guys. And I had a dream one night that quad had a big party. And so I went to go write them up, as you do. And I went in, and I'm taking names. I got like paper and pen, writing it down. And they had in their dorm, a public style bathroom where there's like 3 or 4 or 5 stalls. Not actually true at my college, but okay, so I walk in the bathroom, there's like someone hiding in there. So I walk in, and I'm like, "I got you. What's your name?" And this person says, "My name is Molotov Smokes More." I made that up in my dream. What? Who am I? I'll tell you who I am. I just remembered this at work the other day and told my coworkers. I am a person who chose to sing "Girl on Fire" by Alicia Keys a cappella to Joanne Hardesty at Thomas Lauderdale's house. What the hell? From Pink Martini, if you don't know him. Pink Martini, Thomas Lauderdale, me! You guys, I can't sing! But I did it anyway! That's the attitude. Okay, maybe just have a couple more. I'm bad at plants. Okay. How much time do we have? One more. Okay, Do you want to hear a couple more, or should I end it? One or two more? Okay, I ran outside to get some plants, some lettuce or something from my backyard. This is a weird way to start this story. I had to go out my front door, went around the side of the house, grabbed some lettuce, went back to the front of the house, and my roommate had left the house and locked the door. And I did not have my keys on me, and I did not have my phone. All I had was a handful of lettuce, and I was in fact wearing my dinosaur onesie. So I was standing on my porch in North Portland with a handful of lettuce, wearing my dinosaur onesie, and who comes walking down the street but a Portland tour guide. Hello, this is Portland. Okay. And then, okay, sorry. Okay, two more. One is that, okay, wait, I do have to see. Raise your hand if you've been here to see an improv show. Okay, a lot of you. So you might know this about me already because it's been the fact about me up on the screen a few times, but my teeth tingle. And the original cause of my teeth tingling, I found, was when dogs and cats licked my palms. My teeth would tingle. That's been happening to me my whole life. But I just found out that something else makes my teeth tingle, you guys. I just found this out. You ready for what it is? Buttercream. Like on a cake? But here's the weird thing. I do not even have to eat it. I just look at it. It makes my teeth tingle. Then, yeah, the only other thing I have to say is, you know what's funny? Sinkholes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oscar Wilde, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar Wilde. There go the Johanna Lowenberg groupies, ladies and gentlemen. One more time for Johanna. One of the exercises I ask students to do is write down everything that makes them agitated or angry, and first to write a lot of things about themselves, make a list. So Johanna came back and just read her list, and it was funny. So that means you've had a very funny life, Johanna. Oh, where? And now, who is here from your family?
My sister and my brother-in-law.
Yeah, I noticed they all look like you. The brother-in-law looks like you, right?
Yeah.
What's your sister do, just out of curiosity?
Ooh, do you want to ask her?
Yes, I do. I was just being dyslexic and looking at you while I was asking her. Where are you seated, Johanna's sister? Yeah. Calm down. It might not be as bad as you think. And what's your name?
My name is Ingrid.
Ingrid. How are you, Ingrid? Are you anything like Johanna?
Not at all.
Okay. That's basically the answer I wanted. Thank you. You have a wonderful life. What do you do, Ingrid?
I work in marketing.
Okay. Now, do you want to, like, book her? No, okay. Families are so close-knit near the holidays, aren't they? Okay, coming to the stage now. All my students have just entertained me a lot, which is great for a teacher, as like Ryan will tell you. And she's just delightful. She's very funny. I learned Friday night she actually lives in Washington and actually comes all the way over to Oregon to do stand-up. Please welcome Maytal Markman. Maytal.
Thank you. Holy shit. Okay. I've been super nervous about this all weekend. And so this morning I was thinking, like, maybe I should just tell people that up front, but I should try to make it funny. So I was like, doing stand-up comedy as a student is so nerve-wracking. It's like, has anybody had their body waxed? Because you go in thinking it's going to be great at the end, but as you get on the table, you're seriously questioning your life choices. I'm not sure. But here I am, so what's up? I'm Maytal. Thank you. Alexa and Siri still think my name is Meadle. That one's for you, Molly. It's not a common name. It's not a common name. When I was a kid, I really wanted one of those souvenir license plates with my name on it. That was not going to happen for me. But I decided that when I grow up, I'm just going to name all of my children Jennifer and Stephen. I'm going to save some strife for the next generation. Because when you grow up with an unfamiliar name, you have to deal with some things. So here are just some of those things. First of all, school. First day of school, teacher's taking attendance, she's going down the list, she gets to your name and you just see her getting nervous. She's like, gonna try. She's like, Maytal, Matal, Metal. Now I'm sorry, but metal is not a name. It's a word, it's a word. And I know that people name their kids words like river, that is cute. Or crystal, that is cute. Metal is not cute. It's not a name. And then there's the people who they kind of pretend that they're interested, but they don't really care. They'll be like, oh, that's so pretty. How do you spell it? Where is it from? What does it mean? And then they still call you Mato. There's one kid who calls me my towel. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna call you James Towel. You wanna call me my towel? You don't care? I don't care. James Towel. And he's 5, and that was mean of me, but whatever. And then there's the people who tell you that they're bad with names. Oh, I'm just bad with names. But they want to tell you how they're going to remember yours. So they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to think of Mai Tais. Oh, I'm just going to think of Tylenol. Oh, I'm just going to think of that band, Toots and the Maytals. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to be associated with cocktails and drugs and reggae, I suppose there's worse fates in life. There's worse fates in life. So it's fine. So honestly, I'm not riled. I'm used to it. I get it. People look at my name and I know it's going to be 5 more minutes, on our first day of class, before we can do anything else in life. It's fine. So I usually am not riled up about this. However, several weeks ago, my good friend Ryan brought some of his material to class. He's talking about how he has trouble with his name, Ryan. People think it's Brian. Both of those are license plate names, dude. So, my honest reactions, I was pissed. I was just like, who's this white boy think he is? You have the 17th most common name in North America, and you think you have a problem with your name? No! Now I lost my crown, but it was worth it. In case you couldn't tell, I grew up in the Bronx. Let's give it up for the Bronx. My brother is here from the Bronx tonight, thank you. My brother's name is Michael. Why? That's not fair. How come he got that name? Thank you for coming. You have an easy fucking life. But I live in Washington. How? Why do I live in Washington? I'm not sure, except that I married a man from the West Coast. He is from Marin County, California. Let's give it up for Marin County, California. It's been an interesting 10 years. There was a little bit of like a culture clash in the beginning, but we figured it out, and he's a great guy. His sister is here too, thank you. We got 2 kids. We've got our oldest, who's going to be 8 in a couple weeks. And then we have our younger one, who's 4.5, you guys. She's a big kid now. She's not my baby anymore, which means that I now get baby fever. Some people know what that is, but as I've been talking about this, it has come to my attention that not everybody knows what baby fever is. So here's what baby fever is, okay? Baby fever is when you miss having like a newborn tiny little baby, because that gives you the perfect excuse to sit on the couch binge watching the Mindy Project all day. Your husband has to bring you snacks. That man used to refill my water bottle every hour. I have to do it myself now. So I miss having a little baby, and so sometimes I turn to my husband and I say, I kind of want to have another baby. And then he turns to me and he says, with who? Which is fair, you guys. That's a fair question, okay? Because I'm the one who convinced this man to have what he told me to refer to as the procedure. Okay? Yeah, when our kids were really little, everybody was tired and dirty and hungry and miserable, I was like, we're done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he was like, yeah, we're totally done. So I was like, you're going to make the appointment. He's like, I'm going to make the appointment. But he wasn't making the appointment. And I was like, bro. No more live ammo in this household. You either switch to blanks or you're not shooting anything at all. And he was like, yeah, I'm totally going to do that. But then he still wasn't doing it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to have to scare this man into doing it. Which I think is also fair. Because how many of you know a man who like wakes up on a Saturday morning? This is kind of what it looks like. Little scratcher-ama. Great day to have a stranger perform an elective procedure on my fruit basket. No man thinks that. Also, no man says fruit basket. That was mine. I'm keeping it clean. So I'm gonna have to scare him. I'm gonna scare him into doing it. So you know what I did? I recorded the children screaming in the back seat of the car. And then I played that recording for him at dinner. And during the recording, one of the kids just said, I want daddy! Yeah, that man made himself an appointment. And it's a really good thing that he did. Because we are very lucky. We had no problem conceiving our 2 children. And I think that if he hadn't done that, by now we would have like 4 or 5 kids, which is problematic. Because we already have a Jennifer. And we already have a Stephen. And I'm fresh out in eggs. Thank you.
Hey, Powell, ladies and gentlemen. All the way from Washington State, huh? Good job, Maytal. How do you feel about that, Brian?
I didn't like it so much.
Yeah. Anyone else from Washington here? I believe that's the state song. Yeah, we love Washington, except when they drive here.
There are bridges.
There are, yeah, I know. I'll tell you why I love Washington. One thing made me fall in love with Washington, although I really like the state anyway, but several years ago, on the same election day, Washington state voters approved legalized pot and gay marriage. On the same day. Yeah. No other state has done that, which the Washingtonians just proved we were reading the Bible wrong. We weren't getting Leviticus the way it was meant to be. If a man sleeps with a man, he should be stoned. So, thank you. You're looking at me like you didn't vote for those things. Fuck that day. Okay, coming to the stage now, a guy I like a lot. He's really brought so much good energy to the class, and he should, because he's taught improv right here at CSC Portland. Gem, please welcome my friend Chris Crotty. Bring up Chris Crotty!
Hello, everyone. Now, I know you're looking at me, and you might be thinking, oh, great, another middle-aged geek who took a night off from playing D&D because one of his idiot friends told him he should try stand-up. Well, I am here to assure you that you are absolutely correct. But I'm hoping you'll be sympathetic, because I actually suffer from D&D ADD, which means I get very distracted by geeky things all the time, and they leak into my life. So a lot of this material is going to be very geeky. But don't worry, I tried it out on a test audience, and let me tell you, those 13-year-old asthmatic Stranger Things fans, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. But no, I really would be playing D&D right now, and I'm okay saying that now. It's okay now to say that you played D&D. When I was growing up and learning to play, it was a little different, right? Other kids might tease you, they might bully you, but far worse were the parents. That's right. The parents who were concerned that this game was gonna turn you into a Satan worshiper or a devil person or something. And then this is true. When I was a senior in high school, not a senior, I don't know what year it was, but we wanted to, in this service program, we were gonna go teach 5th graders how to play D&D. And so I literally had to go in front of the school board to explain that this would be safe. So I went one night in front of the school board, and they're asking me questions, and I'm answering them, and they seem really skeptical, and I don't think it's going well. And finally, Mr. Siriano, the head of the school board, he goes, "Chris, is there anything else you'd like to tell us?" I'm like, oh boy, what do I do? Need a real Hail Mary here. So I looked at him and I said, yes, there is. I said, I think you should know that everyone in our Spanish class is pretty sure that our teacher, Mr. McDonald, is sleeping with the senior who sits in front of him. And they were shocked. They looked horrified. And then they were like, he's a devil, get him out of here. No. So, yeah, it's okay to play D&D now and admit it. And it's actually a great time for fantasy, right? Especially television. Wow, we got a new Game of Thrones show, and it didn't suck, right? And then we got an Amazon Rings of Power show. And, the big question on that show is, who of these people is going to turn out to be Sauron, the bad guy in the Lord of the Rings, right? Because in the Rings of Power, Sauron's an actual person. He has a body. Now, by the time the Lord of the Rings rolls around, Sauron doesn't actually have a body anymore. In the movies, they show he was a big fiery eye, but in the books, he's not even that. He's just doesn't have a body. He's a spirit. Now, at the risk of being canceled for being an ableist, I would think that not having a body would be tough. Make it tough to run an evil empire. Armies, practical considerations, but somehow he's managed. I mean, even getting along with your employees would be tough, right? Imagine you're an orc, and it's your first time going to a staff meeting, and you heard Lord Sauron's going to be there, but right before you go into the meeting, your supervisor, Grognak, pulls you aside. And Grognak says, "Look, Brian, before we go in there, there's something you should know about Lord Sauron. He's kind of funny looking. He has no body, so try not to stare. And your poor little orc brain is like, what would I stare at? Where would I look? And then it gets worse because you're sitting there in the meeting and, you know, Sauron's doing a PowerPoint presentation. And all of a sudden, Sauron's like, oh, I can't find the remote. Who has the remote? And you're there and you find the remote and you throw it to him and you say, catch. And then you remember what your supervisor told you about. He has no body. And then the other thing I have a problem with is, okay, Sauron, he's supposed to be this powerful being, like almost like a god. And yet, his solution for finding his missing magical ring is to send his 9 Nazgul literally door to door, knocking on doors like they're Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormon missionaries. Which actually gave me a great idea for a new Broadway musical. Right, we'll get all the great guys who do these parody musicals. We've got Matt Stone, Trey Parker. We'll get in the stars, the Lord of Nazgul, we'll get Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's not doing it. The Hamilton thing's played out. And we'll go ahead and we'll stage the Book of Sauron. And so you can imagine the Nazgul there. Hello, my name is Nazgul Price, and I would like to tell you about the most amazing ring. Hello. My name is Nazgul Grant, and this ring was made a long, long time ago. Yeah, it would be great. Now, those Nazgul, they seem nice, right? But if you see the movies, not so nice. They're kind of creepy and mean and evil and all that. And why not? These poor guys are literally knocking on thousands of doors. You know, and that gets tiresome. It gets lonely. It's hard being on the road. And I think we'd see some of that in the actual deleted scenes. We see that one scene where they're intimidating the poor hobbit outside his house with his dog. And what we don't see is the rest of the scene, so I'm going to do the full scene for you. So it starts off, the guy's in front of his house and his dog's there, and then the Nazgul come up on their black steeds, and he's like, he reaches out and he's like, Shire Baggins. The poor hobbit's there. No Baggins here. Try up in Hobbiton. This is where we should see the rest of the scene. Oh, well, that's disappointing. Listen, it's getting late. Do you know any good lodging in Hobbiton? You could try the Hobbiton Village Inn. Okay. Look, do they have a stable? We have 9 special needs horses. Maybe my cousin stayed there and he thought it was good. Oh, you're very kind. Listen, I know we just met, but are you seeing anyone? Bad idea to date a Nazgul, all right? Because we know in the books and the movies, if you fight a Nazgul and you get stabbed by a Morgul blade, every year, from then on, every year, that wound comes back, all right? You date a Nazgul, you run the risk of getting a Morgul STD. So every year it might be like, what's wrong, Mr. Frodo? Oh, Sam, the itching's back, Sam. Would not be good. Now, I am a geek, but I do, from time to time, try to do normal things as well, try to slip those in. But my poor D&D, AD&D brain will interfere and make me think of geeky things. Recently, I was invited to dinner, and I was excited because the hosts, big Star Trek fans, and they asked me to bring some wine. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to the wine store, and they always have like so many wines, and they have cute names and labels and stuff. I'll try to find a wine with like a label or a title that maybe is space related, right? And I'm looking around and I'm not really seeing anything. And I got Star Trek on the mind in space. And I find this one bottle, and I look at it. It has a picture of a jaunty seafaring fellow on it. It's very happy. And the label says, Mon Petit Capitan. And I'm like, yeah, that's it, that's the bottle. But I don't know why. I'm like, okay, brain, why? Why is this? And then I realized, I'm thinking, Mon Petit Capitan is probably the nickname that Captain Picard gives his penis. And now I'm distracted because I'm in the middle of a wine store and I'm thinking, what would other Star Trek characters call their penises? So probably for 5 minutes I'm just standing there. I'm like, let's see, Data would probably call his like hard drive or gigabyte. And poor Geordi, he's never seen his penis, so he probably, oh, sad for Geordi. And of course, the ultimate question is, well then what would Kirk call his penis? The answer is Kirk. So, yeah. Trying to do other non-geeky things. Went to the coast recently with my wife, took her out to the coast. And it was nice. We were going for a drive, and it was beautiful. Nice trees. And we get to and she's like, oh, look at the trees, it's so pretty and stuff. And it was an anniversary weekend, so she's feeling room. Then we go through a tunnel, and she's like, you know what would make this perfect? Is if they painted the walls of the tunnel like the inside of a whale. And I'm there, the fuck? You know, because, nothing makes a drive pleasant like a digestive tract. But I already knew my wife was kind of weird. She was raised Mormon. And that had to do with what happened next. I'm like, well, let's, after we drive, let's go get some gas. It was Saturday. And so that way, on Sunday when we leave, we don't have to stop. We can just have breakfast and leave. And she's like, okay, it feels a little weird to get gas on a Sunday. I'm like, why is that? And she's like, well, when I was young, growing up Mormon, we weren't allowed to get gas on a Sunday. We weren't supposed to shop on a Sunday. I'm like, oh, okay. And that's making me think a little bit. And I'm like, okay, so imagine you're someone, you've led a life and you die, and yeah, that's what happens, right? You wind up in Mormon heaven, and Mormon St. Peter's at the gates, and he's like, oh, okay, before we let you pick out what planet you're going to live on in the afterlife, let's review your life a little bit. Tell me about your life. Well, I have to admit I've done some bad things. I've stolen sometimes and actually once killed a man. And Mormon St. Peter's like, okay, what about your shopping habits? Do you have any receipts? Can you? And I started thinking, yeah, receipts. They ask for receipts. The IRS asks for receipts. So the IRS is like the Mormon church. And I thought, it actually is, because there's other things. Both the IRS and the Mormon church encourage you and reward you if you have more children, right? They both take a percentage of your paycheck. And at this point, between the Mormon church and the IRS, I'm not sure which one I'm more scared of. So, thank you very much.
Chris Karate, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, hard work for you guys. Chris, I was watching Gary, my husband, because he's total Star Trek Lord of the Rings, and you really made him laugh. One more time, Chris Karate. Shopping. Gary and I moved up here 21 years ago, although Gary went to the University of Oregon and lived in Oregon for a while. But when we moved up here, we didn't know about New Seasons and Whole Foods, so I actually shopped at Safeway. And yeah, I did. I admit it. And I'm not good with shopping anyway. Gary, make a list, and look at him. No, I'm not good. And on my list, way long ago, was I can't believe it's not butter, was on the list. And I'm aimless at Safeway. I finally find the butter aisle, and I finally found I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe I found it, actually. But here's the problem. Right next to I can't believe it's not butter was a product called Could It Be Butter? This is pressure I don't need. I'm thinking, who would name a product Could It Be Butter? Had to be a lawyer, okay? Because think about it. If you buy butter at Safeway, take it home, say it's not butter. Say it turns out to be a tub of pork fat, all right? You take it back to Safeway, what are they going to tell you? We didn't tell you it was butter. The The point is, you can't start naming products with a question. Pretty soon there's no Fancy Feast in the cat food aisle, just a tin. Could it be monkey meat? Try to download a Michael Bolton track. Could it be shit? I can't believe it's not music. But it's the freaking marketing, man. And antidepressants, are they on every 5 minutes on TV? Right in your face? Do you need Prozac? Take this simple test. Do you ever tear up at funerals? At least once in the past 5 years, have you not slept well? When the neighbor kid killed your dog with lawn darts, were you slightly annoyed? My favorite marketing thing, North Dakota, this has gone on twice, they put this on the ballot, to change the name of North Dakota to? Dakota, thank you. Good, smart audience. It hasn't passed, but they keep trying. The logic is that the word north connotes cold and it will curb tourism. I've been to Minot. I performed in Minot in January. It's like 85 below wind chill. These are some marketing geniuses. Why don't you just name the state? I can't believe it's not Florida. How about that? I do this only to hear. That's my new goal in comedy, ladies and gentlemen. I love this next performer like I love all my students. He is all naturally funny, and everyone in the class knows that you will soon. Please welcome Kent Sayer. Kent Sayer!
Thanks a lot. All right, let's get up for Carl, everybody. Yeah, Carl. Yeah. All right. Hey. I'm so pale that tanning salons pay me to use my photo as their before picture. You know, inflation's really out of control. So paying my dominatrix to beat me is getting too expensive. So what I do instead is I just call Comcast and wait on hold. Yeah. I get to feel all the same pain, but at least now it's free. There's a 6-year-old with a severe peanut allergy who has been bullying my son at school. Horrible. So I told my son, the next time the bully tries something, don't fight back. Instead, tell him you want to be friends, and then give him these Reese's peanut butter cups. Problem solved. You know, I hate the ducks because I myself am a beaver. I'm jealous. Thank you. I'm jealous that Nike billionaire Uncle Phil is the duck's sugar daddy. And us beavers have the Reese's family, famous for Costco potato salads. Yeah, Reese's fine foods. You know, it's too bad they can't make Reese's beef jerky in sweatshops. Right? Maybe then we could buy ourselves a better football team. And just think, if we had enough little sweatshop kids making Reese's beef jerky, we too could spend enough money to lose a national championship. You know, I took my 6-year-old son to the famous footwear shoe store. The salesman walks up to me and he's like, "Do you want new shoes for your son?" I stop and think. And I'm like, a pair of new shoes for my son. You got a deal. I get the shoes, you get my son. This little bugger was costing me way too much money anyway. But the story has a very happy ending because I left the store with this amazing pair of shoes. Oregon's a really weird state to live in because you can buy and use illegal drugs, but you can't pump your own gas. So crazy. One time, a police officer caught me pumping my own gas. And he was like, "Son, you're not pumping your own gas, are you? Because that's illegal here in the state of Oregon." I was like, oh, no, officer, of course not. I was just huffing it. Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Please carry on as you were. Yeah. You know, I see an armless guy by my house riding a modified bike. Wow. Something comes over me, and so I blurt out, good for you, bro. And I mean it sincerely. Well, he took it wrong. He looks me dead in the eye. And then he flips me off with his foot. I don't know whether to be offended or amazed. Got me asking so many questions. How are you supposed to greet an armless person? Are you supposed to shake their foot? And you shake their foot too vigorously. Don't you risk them falling over? Is it rude to refuse to shake their foot if their foot's dirty? I'm like, sorry, dirty foot? Yeah, I just washed my hands. Am I the jerk here? So many questions. You know, there was a big election here recently, and I think if I had run, I would have won in a landslide. And I'll tell you why. The key is that having the right name on the ballot. So if I were running for election, I would have legally changed my first name to Vote for Kent Because, and the last name to He'll Give You Free Weed. Yeah. You know, my sister-in-law is a very jealous person. Very jealous, and she demands a lot of attention. So when my brother got a job as a shopping mall Santa, right before the start of his shift, she spiked his coffee, Santa's, with Viagra. Oh no. Yeah, he's banned from the mall. But not before an unusually large number of moms got in line to tell Santa what he wanted for Christmas. All right, thanks a lot, everybody.
Kent Sayer, ladies and gentlemen. I love that Phil Knight bit. I'm sorry. I just freaking love it. One more time for Ken. Yeah. Oh yeah, time to go. Our final act tonight. How about a hand for everybody so far on the show? I am so proud. We have a few improv people here who have experienced a lot of stage time, but to do stand-up is a different animal, and they have all put themselves out. Please, I'm just really happy about it. Yeah. Well, this guy we have enjoyed so much in class. He just makes us laugh naturally, and that's, you know, when you can do that just with who you are, you're several steps ahead. And he comes to us from Little Rock, Arkansas, as I mentioned before. So please give a big welcome to Nick Dudley, ladies and gentlemen. Nick!
Oh man, this is great, y'all. I told Carl this on Thursday, but my therapist actually ghosted me. And so Carl actually had to pick up some of that slack. I think he's done a great job. He wrote a really kind of fucked up set for me to do tonight. So we'll see. It was a lot of Michael Bolton material that I kind of had to scrap. I was like, that's a little bit dated. But you know what do I know? I looked deep inside myself to write this bit, and what I figured out is that our mouths and buttholes, they're different ends of the same shit-filled silly straw. That's kind of all there is to it. But I'm not a biologist. At least, not by trade. Clearly, I've been doing some work on it. I'm more of a procrastinator. I started writing this joke 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago, and it still didn't have a punchline. But I'm gonna get to it later. I think I may get on Wikipedia. I kind of tried to last night, but I just ended up reading this whole article on the Canadian rapper Snow, 12 Inches of Snow. He was locked up for stabbing somebody when he wrote that damn song. And then when it peaked at #1, he couldn't tour the US because he was locked up again for stabbing somebody. God, Wikipedia. Oh man. You can learn a lot about stuff from the internet. That, man, I don't know. So this is my first time here. That's not true. That's not true. I don't know why I said that. I've done improv on this very stage. And I'm not making that one up. I can prove it. Can I get a name from the audience?
Brian.
Yes. And can I get a different name? Or better? I need a new name. We've burned that name out. Anyone? Petunia. All right. That's going to be the theme of tonight's show here. I'm going to prove to Johanna that I'm actually less prepared than she is. I don't think I can remember Petunia, actually. I stopped at the Fred Meyer Fuel Center on the way in. And this guy's guy, he goes, "Man, you sound country as hell." And this is true. I'm just gonna tell you exactly what happened. He goes, "You sound country as hell." He goes, "I'm about to move to Dallas." And I go, "Oh, I was actually just there, and it ain't that good." And he goes, "Well, all we got here is great climate and weed." I was like, "What else is there? What are you doing? You're gonna go to Dallas?" God. All right. So I recently started an Instagram for my dog. Quarantine did that to me. But I just started a couple of weeks ago. So, my therapist ghosted me. So if anyone wants to help me out after the show, still looking for one. I'm also selling a riding lawnmower right now. If anyone, just while I'm up here just taking care of some of my personal business. It's a Husqvarna lawn tractor, 42 inches. It's got 3 blades. It's great for composting. But we just have moss here, so I haven't been using it. I just use the old string trimmer. But anyway, you know, until I was just doing yard work before I got here. So I started this Instagram for my dog, and it's a concatenation of her name and the airport, Mrs. Tacos PDX. That's not how I got here, though. Actually, I teleported here through a Motel 6. Well, not directly. It was a long series of Motel 6s. Long. And those guys all know each other too. Patel, like, they'll ask you, like, in one city, "Oh, did you talk to Patel back there?" And you're like, "Yeah, I sure did." Y'all try it sometime. You can tell I'm not making that one up. Someone's not making this shit up. So no, I'm like, so the thing with Mrs. Tacos is I'm super into weird dog names. I like these weird ass dog names. Like, you never have any mix-ups. I have never gone to the dog park and yelled out for Mrs. Tacos. Mrs. Tacos! And I've never had a dog named Petunia come and run up to me. Like, never once. When you have a unique dog name like that, you only get the creature you summon. Well, you may have noticed from my accent that I'm from the South. I recently immigrated here from the deep South, Argentina. Buenos Aires, actually. A little bit outside, Bella Vista. Cute little neighborhood. Psych, I'm kidding. I'm from Arkansas. But I had y'all going for a minute there. Y'all believe that shit? That's crazy. No, I actually did. I grew up on the banks of the Arkansas River, in the shadow of the Big Dam Bridge. And that's the official name of the bridge. It's situated over the Arkansas River, which is the main body of river, or the main body of water that flows through Arkansas. Anyway, you can go out to the bridge and step on goose shit on the weekends. Hang on, let me get some water real quick. Y'all are wearing me out. No, I moved out here because I'm super into the outdoors. I've taken Mrs. Tacos camping several places around here. Me and the lady, we've been out to the gorge, I think 3 or 4 times now. We went camping out there. Great scenery. We've been out to the beach. We've been out to the beach a couple times. It was great. And then we did a couple of nights under the Burnside Bridge. It wasn't illegal though. I pulled those permits 2 for $5 down there at Plaid Pantry. And they got me. Dude, they got me all situated. Oh, man. Dude, I still miss Arkansas though. I got some family back there. It was my stomping grounds for a long time. But I lost my grandma right before COVID. It was a real sad situation. She was getting kind of weird on us, getting kind of kooky in a nice little grandmotherly way. Those years leading up to it. It's like she wasn't acting exactly right. She lived nearby, and so I went over there one morning, to eat some cream of wheat, like you do in Arkansas. And so, I get there, Grandma's sitting there eating her cream of wheat, and she's got her little Shih Tzu, her lapdog Hoodie, sitting in her lap. I think Grandma might have taught me the weird ass dog name thing. She told me Hoodie stood for pudding tame. That's weird. So I sit down with her, to eat my cream of wheat. And I could tell something was off. She looks at me and she goes, "Nicholas, did you take milk with your cream of wheat?" I was like, "No." And she picks up that damn milk like this. I remember her pinky pointing out, and she just dumps the milk right on my cream of wheat. Just drowns it. Ugh, Grandma. Ugh. Let's go on a walk. Let's go walk over this bridge. Big damn bridge. Once that cream of wheat had settled, we walked over that bridge. And this woman is coming from the other direction, you know, with her little golden retriever. And this thing just runs up and like gives my grandma a hug and starts sniffing my grandma. And so, you know, my grandma, you know, a little bit out of it, she starts going, oh, she smells my putty. She smells my putty. And this woman, she gives me a real weird look. You know, just frantic. And I'm telling her, I'm like, whoa, relax. That's just her dog's name. It was nice. Man, Grandma's got a rank ass pussy. Let's go, Mrs. Tacos! Oh man, dude, y'all's food game is on point out here. It really is. We didn't have that back in Arkansas. We had shitty food. I was sitting back there in the green room just a minute ago drinking like some sort of hibiscus seltzer with hops. I was like, God, this place is amazing. But, you know, back in Little Rock, we had this shitty little diner called the Dixie Cafe. And that was kind of the only really place we had to eat. But, you know, have y'all heard of that? Y'all heard of the Dixie Cafe? Y'all been back here? I heard someone talking about the Golden Corral earlier, and I was like, well, that's nearby. But it ain't the same. Oh my God. No, it's one of these restaurants that specializes in gravy. Hey, they got both kinds there. They got brown and white. It's pretty good. And you know, I'll tell you, you know, back in the day, I was kind of a stud. And I actually dated a couple different waitresses down there at the Dixie Cafe. Y'all know how many hand jobs I got in the back of that place? They were practically begging for it back then. You know? I mean, that's the thing. If you run out of lube, that old pre-filled gravy boat with the white stuff, dude, it comes in pretty damn handy, you know? And if you're in the mood, you can use that brown gravy too. Well, Nicholas, I never heard of such a thing. That's all I got.
Nick Dudley, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, it's like you missed every class. That's funny stuff. Nick Dudley, ladies and gentlemen, come on. That's good job. He's got his stuff. We're going to do a quick Q&A. I know it's been a long show, but before we do that, I want to mention and have stand up the students who performed on Friday night. And because one of the great things about both classes is everyone's been supportive of each other. We did a few cross classes so they can get different audience back. Ed Markowitz, where's my friend Ed? Stand up in the back, Ed Markowitz. Very funny, Grace Ashita, where's Grace? Grace Ashita, there's Grace. All the way from Germany, Idris Wahed. Edris Wahed. My friend Kim Upham, where's Kim? Kim Upham right there. Alice Carrier. Julia McAvoy, the Julia back there. Is John here tonight? John Stam? John and Kim are both lawyers if you want to sue someone after the show. How about a big hand for everybody on both shows? Give them a round of applause. I couldn't be prouder. The performers tonight, come on up. We're not going to do this long, but we'll do a quick Q&A. Those who were on the show tonight, come on up on the benches. And basically, we did this on Friday and it worked pretty well. If you would like to ask questions about the class, if you have any questions for your family members who performed tonight about what it was like in the class, if you maybe think of joining the class, fire away. Anybody, let's start with some questions. And anybody back there? No questions. Okay. No questions. Well, thanks for being involved in the show tonight. Yes. Oh, Alice, you're actually in the class and have a question.
What was your favorite thing that you learned?
What was the favorite thing that you learned? Let's start over.
Oh.
He learned his name was actually Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. I think what I learned was that when we were in the back, I'd asked a question about if this is what a writer's room is like, where you sit around and you basically talk and tell jokes and help each other craft jokes. So I learned that that maybe is something I would want to do at some point, is like a writer's room.
There you go. Sorry for skipping.
That's okay. I actually just loved hearing Carl's stories because he's been on the road for, since like the 1850s, and I think like did a wonderful job. And but no, I mean like it was really pleasure.
I was in my 50s? Oh, great.
But it was like a really pleasure having you as a teacher too, and you taught us so much about comedy.
I'd say my favorite thing was learning about a lot of different styles of comedy, and you could probably tell tonight everybody had their own unique style, which I thought was really interesting. I had an idea of what it should look like for me, but then hearing everybody else do their own thing and be hilarious was great. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say my favorite thing was just how much fun we had in class. I mean, it was just a lot of laughing, especially just spontaneous when it's led by Carl. I mean, just really a lot of fun.
Yeah, what I learned, no, the one thing I will say that I have one rule about comedy, and I told the classes first day, have fun, and the audience will have fun. Did you have fun tonight? Yeah. And the second thing that I just love about every one of these students, I asked them when you're starting out, told them when you're starting out with stand-up, it's best to start out with who you are and what you know. And you'll get writers who will tell you, write what you know and tell the truth, because who you are, what you're all about is a truth. And it rings more clearly and resonates more clearly with the audience. And every one of these students decided to talk about who they were, what their experiences were. And I was just amazed how quickly they bought into that. And I learned that there's brown and white gravy.
What else would there be, Carl? There is. It's in my coffee cup.
Oh my.
Viscous brown
That's
gravy.
some real putty there.
Oh. I don't know. I guess I'll learn that I can make some crazy old guy laugh. That's all I got.
He's talking about me. No, I honestly, on the first day I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do stand-up. I don't know that I can make this sound new every time. I'm so impressed with everything you've done, and the Friday Night Crew, amazing. There's a recording of that if you didn't get to see it. But on day one, I was like, I'm gonna make some friends. Like, these people are awesome. I really highly recommend that anyone who, like, whether you're scared or not, I've just had such good experiences taking classes where people put themselves out there and they do something vulnerable and they're like adults having fun together. I would say that about both stand-up and improv, so I just highly recommend, if you've never done it, just try taking a class. It's super fun and you'll meet awesome people.
I would say that comedy is different when you read it off a page and when you say it out loud. So something that I might have written down and thought was funny when I write it, either wasn't funny saying it out loud or was too long. And so you really learn how to refine what you write to deliver it for a laugh. And that was really helpful.
Yep.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I saw one of my favorite authors speak, Barry Eisler. He's a pretty successful author, and he said something that was stuck with me. He said, no matter what artistic thing you do, there's two elements. There's the art and there's the craft. And the art is your vision, your imagination, your creativity. That is yours, and nobody can teach that or shouldn't teach it. But there's a craft that can be taught. Like if you want to learn to play the guitar, you can learn how to make a chord. When we do improv, we can learn things like how to use our body to create a character and stuff. So coming into this, I had no idea about the craft of stand-up, coming from a long improv background. So for me, it was very interesting to hear a lot of just really good stuff about the craft of stand-up, how to take ideas and apply the craft. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with him that coming into this, I learned the fundamentals of stand-up. You don't just kind of just tell jokes, but there's also different components when you're on stage. I think for me, it helped me get over stage fright. I honestly, it was my biggest fear, but also something that I wanted to challenge myself with. And Carl always taught us to always look for comedy in everyday life. And I think that's really important when our world is how it is. And yeah, help me be funnier.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say is I learned to look and see comedy everywhere, and I think that's a nice filter to walk through life with, so I appreciate that, Carl.
You know, what's amazing is that 8 weeks ago, none of these students spoke English. So they're all from Bulgaria, actually. No, what Chris was saying is we start with comedy, stand-up comedy is 50% material, 50% style. You've got to have the material, but it's the style that puts it across. Theoretically, it's 50-50. Comics may have great material, not a very good style, vice versa. Comics that have both, like Chris Rock has incredible material and he has the mischievous, preachy style. And every one of my students in both classes came up with a style that is them. And they put their material across with that style, which I'm it's the first time I've done workshops at a number of comedy festivals, but I'll tell you, I was very happy with this box of chocolates that I got. I really am impressed. Is there one more question? Because I know it's late. Anybody else have a question for anyone up here? And I learned that people live in Washington. Thank you, Maytal. It was great that you came over and you brought the two people you know from there.
They're my Portland neighbors.
Oh, they're Portland neighbors, but they're from Washington. No, okay.
Nobody's from Washington.
I'm as confused as I was during Nick's set now. I believe there's a third gravy. I'm gonna look it up. I think there's gotta be a third gravy. Yes?
In western Illinois and eastern Iowa, they refer to what we would call marinara or spaghetti sauce as red gravy.
Wow. Wow. Red gravy. That's actually what's in Donald Trump's head. So anyway, the last thing I'll say is we have a new series of stand-up classes. Well, there's a basic class and then there's an intermediate class. I think what we want to do in the intermediate class is extend these sets to instead of 3 to 5 or 10 to 20, and we'll have some opportunities to actually try out the material before a live audience. And those classes begin again on January 16th. Again, a great thank you to CSZ Portland, and I'm just thrilled. And I think Na said it, boy, do we need to laugh more than ever right now. Thank you all for coming. Thank you so much. One more round for all these guys.